John, we'll call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Have the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for being here this evening. Just a reminder that this is a work session. If we could have a roll call, please.
Michael Cashman is absent. Thomas Wood.
I'm still here.
Barbara Hebert.
Thank you, Madam Town Clerk. Present.
Charles Costick.
Here.
Dana Isabella.
Present.
James Coffey.
Here.
And I am present as well, Kevin Felucci.
Thanks, Katie. Do we have any public comments this evening? Seeing none. Supervisor's report. Michael did not leave me anything to go over this evening as far as the supervisor's report. Everybody should have had the work session packet, RFP for Hometown Heroes banner program.
That's the same thing we did before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we
We went
changed
out to
suppliers.
bid before.
Yeah.
This year was different than the past.
Yeah,
right?
Tom, the process is getting more improved, and the selection of vendors is important, so it's similar to last year, you're correct. And if you have any questions, let Dana and I know as liaisons.
Request for a road name change. I'm actually going to circle back to Michael on this. I'm a little bit confused. Because the letter from,
Tim?
well, the letter from Emergency Services to Tim and the letter from Patrick Halloran, it's a private road.
Well, in my opinion, if we're changing it, and it is a private road, so it should be a way, and they're asking for it from the county
Okay.
level. My question would be, who's responsible for paying for the sign and the other kind of things for the road? And that would be the private owners. It's a
Well,
private
they
road.
look like Kelly Donahue from Emergency
Right.
Services did convey that. But I guess my question is, and Jim, maybe you could answer it, we would need a resolution on a private road?
I'll have to check into that. I wouldn't think so, but off the top of my head.
I just,
But the only good thing about, a resolution is even if you don't need it, there's no downside.
okay.
Whereas if
Okay.
you need it, you don't do it, there is a downside.
There's
So
a downside.
I'll check it out.
Well,
Okay,
the
I just
only
wondered, that's all.
the reason to do it is for 911, so that
Oh, yeah.
they have the right
Yeah.
So they
place
have,
to go.
they have the proper record for OES.
Although I don't know why people wouldn't know where Mobile Home Drive is, so. But that's obviously a personal thing or something that the person wants,
Okay.
but if
Well,
they,
it says in the letter from Tim, this is necessary for 911 emergency services purposes.
Yeah. So, I think I would, stick with what Jim said. If we make a resolution, we make a resolution, it's not gonna hurt
It's not gonna
anything.
hurt anything,
So,
yeah.
yeah, probably in the long run, like you said, easier to do it and have it on the books than not do it, figure out why you did
Not
it.
only that, there's a little history there, and
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
can say,
Yeah.
you didn't need to do that or something.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
okay, we did it.
And then Tim generated the letter based on Kelly Donahue's letter?
Kelly's
Okay,
request.
that's right, okay.
Yeah, I can talk to Kelly
Yeah.
about it too, I'll see him in a little while anyways.
Okay.
Committee reports, anybody have any committee reports?
The only one I'd like to offer is that I'm a member of the subcommittee for the zoning, the rezoning for the former Clinton County Airport. So just to give the team an update that process has been going well, so we've had some meetings. And then probably in February, the town board should be getting some information as we move more towards the rezoning and the amendments to that. So just stay tuned, I just want to make sure the team understands what's been going on. So I've attended 2 meetings in the meantime, and been very useful, kind of made me think very hard in terms of what the map looks like and what we're looking for the future strategically for the best interest of the town, so just so you're aware.
Cool.
And I'd have to piggyback on that, just in the assessing department, that we have started the shared services with the
Yes,
county.
good, thanks to you.
And so far is going well, and seems to be a good plan going. It started
Yeah.
last Friday.
It started Friday, so every other Friday, there will be boots on the ground in terms of Clinton County Shared Services from that Office of Real Property. There'll be someone coming in on Friday. There were 15 to 20, when I checked in with Brian on Thursday, there were 15 to 20 folders ready for that individual to take and to go out and to, look at the properties. And so, to my best understanding, I followed up again, and all 15 to 20 properties were completed.
And there's 2 people coming
Yes.
from the county alternating.
Mhm.
So,
So,
Do we end up giving them a vehicle, or do they get a county?
no, they're using the SUV.
They're using one of
Yeah.
these escapes.
Yeah, we had to sort that out, but that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, I knew they.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, we would anyways, it would be charge mileage on it.
Yes.
So,
Right.
Six months.
so that's started and going well.
Perfect. I do have a couple updates. Michael and I were on the demobilization meeting for streetlights. Not last week, week before. They've wrapped up for the winter. But to date, they have roughly 850 lights installed. That's gonna leave about 550 to do when they're on the ground, in the spring. They're hoping mid to late March to remobilize and get that completed.
Winter goes like this. it'll be-
Yeah, it might even be longer, they're probably almost wishing they didn't. Those materials for all except the decorative lights, and the decorative lights mainly are the Thomas L. Park area, the Woodbury Hill area. The decorative lights are in there, all the rest of the materials are here, so they're ready to go as soon as they get here. I think one of the real good things, there was a contingency built into that. And they've had to use very little. I think they had to replace one arm and a couple of wiring harnesses, so we really have not touched the contingency to any great extent at all. So that'll should bring the cost of the project down, substantially, I would think.
Do you know if they've done any, my husband, I think, noticed different lighting on Cumberland Head. Did they get out there at all, or?
Did Michael share out the map or not? If he didn't, I will.
Okay,
The construction manager did send us a map
Mhm.
with the areas that have been done.
oh, nice.
So
I'd love to see
we'll
that.
flip that out to everybody. I thought Michael was gonna send it out and try to get it on the website.
Okay.
And we're working in the final portions here with NIPA for the maintenance agreement to get the 850 rolled onto that agreement, so. The other update that I had is the electric vehicle update. We had a site survey completed last Thursday afternoon. A couple of folks, and this is through the NYSEG cohort that we're in, a couple of folks on site. We did a walkthrough with Scott Stoddard, Steve Waldron, and myself, one of the 2 reps. Did a walkthrough to get a good idea of what we would need for charging. Roughly, in the first wave of electric vehicles as we work forward with this, no idea what the timing was gonna be, et cetera, because the availability of electric vehicles, et cetera, there's basically 17 vehicles that are for the most part general use or light duty trucks that we have checked right now that could be replaced when they're due to be replaced with electric vehicles. So we have a pretty good plan in place as to where we would start once they start to become available. But really what we did on Thursday was figure out where we would have charging stations. So a lot of them would be out here by the generator room, or generator building, I should say. Easy, Trevor.
Good night.
By the generator building, there would be a bank down through there for the general use vehicles. And then we would have interior charging probably like in the water department is what we looked at, because that would be the initial the initial shot of the light duties would probably be over there.
You had, I remember a comment where you talked about putting some charging stations out at the water, like substations.
As we get further in the process,
Okay.
yes, we'd like to probably be able to do that, or we'd like to at least consider doing that, like at a lift station, like the lift station out on Connecticut, where
Mhm.
they're far
Yeah.
away from the building. If they're there working, you know, they could have a rapid charge unit there, potentially plug the truck in while they're there. So when we get to that point, there's gonna have to be an electrical upgrade, which would mean a new transformer. So they took a look at that. Barb, you know, talked to Steve and found out that NYSEG is very challenged in this area.
Mhm.
So when the guy brought up the map, you know, for the various substations, et cetera, everything running around here was red. And like he said, red's bad as far as electricity that's available. So, you know, we would have to upgrade what's coming into the building to get the point to do that. But we knew that anyways, because there's only, it's 283 phase, which is pretty light for what we're doing in this building. So, but I mean, very interesting stuff, and I think the other thing of note that Michael mentioned to me when he had a meeting with the new insurance folks, well, I guess not new, but had a meeting with Gallagher.
Gallagher,
Yeah,
Gallagher.
he had mentioned, you know, that we had a fleet management
Right.
program, and then had mentioned the electric vehicle cohort that we were in, and the fact that we were in the planning stages. And the rep from Gallagher said that we were the only municipality that he had that had started working forward with the electric vehicle program to at least have an idea what they're gonna do. So I think it's a ways off, we're a long ways out, but we're working in the right direction.
Mhm.
You know, I think again, just like we have with many of the things here at the town, I think we have a real good plan. We're not just gonna go at it in 50 different directions. We've earmarked the vehicles, we know what we're gonna need for charging for the initial. They took a look at other areas too, because my concern is, if we're gonna do an electric upgrade, we wanna take it past the first 17. Let's figure out what we would need for electricity at some point if we're gonna be trying to charge 12 plows. You know, what are we gonna need? If we're gonna do this upgrade, maybe we should take it all the way there to start with, instead of bringing it up one point and then bringing it up another point. So, the engineers are gonna work on that too, the pricing. So.
It'd be less costly to put them in at one time, is that?
I would think. I hate the thought of putting something in a couple years from now, or a year or two from now, whenever we happen to do that, then have to turn around in 8-10 years and upgrade it again. Why not, if we're gonna do it, why not just go all the way the first? It's gonna be, you know, way more than what we would need, but have it.
And with fleet management, Tom, I think, you know, to thank Chuck and Scott, and Scott's been doing some heavy lifting. in
Oh,
terms of
Scott's
this.
been doing the heavy lifting,
But-
not some.
Chuck's been in those cohort meetings, which allow us to, I look at it as what are the lessons learned from some of these other entities, and it doesn't have to be municipalities, it could be a school district or whatever. But it, parallel to that, our fleet management discussion meetings that we're having, at least they come together. So cohort meeting happens, fleet management discussion, and so they're going hand in hand. Just trying not to jump in, I'm a great advocate of EVs or electric vehicles.
Oh,
but I'm still learning more about charging stations and, you know, how to position them and, you know, what it is we're looking for, and not to just take our whole fleet
Oh,
and
yeah.
just turn it into all electric vehicles,
So are these charging stations work for all different kinds of vehicles?
Oh, yeah,
Or
there
do they have
would
to be
be
specific to certain?
No, there would be adaptability.
Because as I understand it, like the Tesla ones are not good
Correct.
for
Correct,
others.
yes.
And
Correct.
so
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're having a universal
And it-
type one that anybody could use.
I mean, if you were to look at the list of 17, it's not like all one manufacturer, it's a potpourri of manufacturers that are involved, just because of what's available in the marketplace today. But I think the big thing is we're planning it out,
Mhm.
versus just, and I, you know, and that's what you just alluded to, Barb, is we're planning out, we're not just going out and buying them. And saying, okay, we've got electric vehicles. I mean, I think every one of us understands the impact and the need in the climate, you know, and where the electric vehicles fit in, but you can't just go and start buying them and start having them here. We have to know what we're gonna do with them, what we're gonna replace, are they gonna meet what we need them to meet, are we gonna be able to charge them? You know, so I mean, we have to make sure we have all the boxes checked as we move into this gradually. But the good news is, we're in the front of the pack, so that means we're gonna be best
That's the
positioned.
important thing, because the state has mandated it
Oh, yeah.
anyway throughout,
Yeah,
and if you don't start thinking about it right away,
right.
you're gonna be way behind the 8 ball for
Absolutely, so it's great stuff, and Barb brought up a very, very good point. I mean, Scott has really dug into this. Scott has got spreadsheets and everything else with this, and he really has been, but he's digging right into it. It's the kind of thing that he loves, so, good stuff.
Neat.
Mhm.
Oh, it's fun, I like it, it's been a learning
Mhm.
experience. Anything else? Cool.
Records management is on its way. It's here. It's working right now this week, isn't it?
True. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, as far as the town clerk's office, they're in that meeting, but, or that committee rather. Yeah, they are doing a fabulous job. Today we met with, I think it was 6 departments over the day. And it really took up the entire day, but it was so great to get in perspective and needs of each individual department, kind of what they've been doing, how we can improve. We've made so much space downstairs by just having some conversations. And so it's really, really gonna be great moving forward. Again, this week has been them getting here, getting things started. They're gonna then go back to Buffalo, probably for a week or 2. Then they'll come back and finalize the implementation stage, where they'll still continue to get rid of stuff. And we'll go through more boxes, and inventory, and we'll be implementing the access database and then finalizing our policies and procedures. So it's a lot of work that's still up ahead, but it's really great and refreshing, so.
Will the ones that already identified as disposable, will we be getting rid of those soon, or do you have to hang
Yeah.
on until a certain date comes?
Nope, so, the ones that are ready for destruction are going to be documented. So again, one of the important parts of being an RMO is actually having a list of what has been destructed, so you can say, no, we don't have that record because it was destroyed this date based on the LGS1, which is our local government records
Mhm.
schedule
Mhm.
of destruction. So, those are, we have a company that comes now bi-monthly and takes a bin from court. So what I'll do is I'm gonna give them a call, let them know that the next time they're coming up, which is like around February 7th, they'll be able to, know that they're gonna have a significant haul, and they'll charge us accordingly.
Great,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's another big box
Yeah,
check.
and again, to help our public viewers, the context of this discussion is for the town clerk committee, just so people
Yeah,
understand.
it's only been 15 years or so we've been doing this, so I'm glad you're getting it done.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you
It's
for
a big-
writing that grant.
It's a
Yeah.
big box check.
Putting it back in and.
Yeah, it should, and then moving forward, to be honest with you, it's not gonna be necessarily, we're all, elected officials here, minus Jim, but to be honest with you, just writing that policies, procedures, because your RMO is appointed by the board. It doesn't have to be the town clerk. So it's a way to kind of maybe help try to prevent this, like, kind of if it's being mishandled by any one position, you can always make it someone else's responsibility for a while to make sure it doesn't get too far out of whack. So it's just something to consider, and that more than, I want everyone to know that's in the hands of, so anyway.
RMO is Records
Management
Management.
Officer.
Yeah, so again, it's appointed by the board, it's a position appointed by,
Mhm.
by you guys, so that's just for future. Because all the work that we do, of course, we don't want it to be gone and with the wind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so again, that's a way,
But I think the good policy and good procedure,
Mhm.
Oh,
that's right
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
That's
they're,
your
yeah.
roadmap for the future.
heck yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Katie.
Anything else? If not, we will adjourn at 6:19, yep, 6:19. Thank you.
Okay.
Drive safe.
No motions?
Yeah.
We don't have to for a work session, do we?
I don't
Nope.